that the MTech system, OPMTE and K, is delivered to you through HBB, home-based business, on a silver platter. That concept I just shared with you, which is cracking the code. But let's look at some statistics here. 15 million people working from home full-time. 8,493 businesses opening every day. 83% of home-based businesses are women. Women, give yourself a hand. 83% of you. 20% of all network marketing sales are related to the wellness industry. And guess what industry we're in? Wellness. Yes or yes? Yes. All right. Now, how can we pay people $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a week or $1 million a year? Right? Well, this is the slide I put together talking about traditional marketing. How products are moved from a manufacturer to a consumer. Right? A bottle of Coke costs 10 cents to manufacture. But by the time you have a wholesaler, distributor, advertising costs, it gets to the retailer, he pays 60. When you go in the store as a consumer and buy a bottle of Coke, how much do you pay? 150. Make sense? So to move any product, I don't care if it's a bottle of Coke, a toothpick, a car, or whatever it is, there's something added on. Almost 53% out of every dollar is allocated to move that product from the manufacturer to the consumer. Look over to your right. The direct sales network marketing, Rain International. You buy the product directly from who? The manufacturer, which is who? Rain International. And you take it directly to who? The consumer. And we pay you how much? 50%. That makes sense? That's how we can pay out. Instead of Rain International paying out the millions of dollars, instead of paying it out and that distribution, we pay that out through back to you. Now, let's talk about if you double a penny for 30 days, if I gave you $1 million and you double a penny for 30 days, which would you choose? Most people choose what? The $1 million worth of cash. Well, let me show you something about compound interest and geometric progression. If you double that penny for the 28th day, it's $1,342,177.28. However, on the 30th day, it's $5 million. That's the power of geometric progression. Let's take a look over here at the network marketing industry, where you are teaching 5 people to teach 5 people. It's concept and the duplication effort. You teach 5 to get 5 based on what you see up there. How many is that? 25? 25 teaching 5 is how much?
125.
125 teaching 5?
625.
If you add all that together, you got 780 distributors. Now here's the magic here. 3 customers. And Byron tells me that our major resources right now, Byron's coming from who? The customers, right? That revenue, the major revenue is coming from customers. So yes, there's customers we can get. So that's 2,340 customers, spend around $30 a week, $120 a month, $7,000 in volume, 10% commission, 10% on your CV. That's $7,200 times 4 is $28,000 for the week. How many can live with that? Is it possible? How many you start out with? You start out by teaching what? 5. Right? And those 5 taught how many? 5. And those 25 taught how many? 5. And those 125 taught how many? 5. What's the problem? Most people quit before they get to 10, 15, or 20 people in the group. Folks, this is a business, and it's a 1 to 3 year project. Now let me finish with a couple stories here. One is Byron Bucker. He purchased the assets of Rain International, which was the license right of the company. Byron Bucker purchased the license right. And I talked about asset control wealth. It's not money that why we're doing $60 million a year right now. It is what? It's the product, asset. The product is what? The asset. Does that make sense? All right. Now, so asset control wealth is based on money controlling an asset, and the asset produces a profit. Got it? So we got a cash flow asset when you have a business. And there's other assets that appreciate, might not generate cash right away, but we got a cash flow asset when we start our home-based business. Let me tell you another story about Ray Kroc. And about most of you know he's the founder of McDonald's. Ray Kroc, I love this story because at the age of 52, Ray Kroc was a milkshake delivery salesman. It was selling milkshake blenders. Two brothers out of California ordered 8 milkshake blenders from Ray Kroc. Got it? Ray Kroc was curious. Why would a restaurant need what? 8 blenders? Like, I want you to be curious. How can buy a bankrupt company bankrupt and do $60 million in 3 years? You should be curious to check this out. We're on the way to become a $1 billion company. So what happened? Ray Kroc went out to California. He observed, like I want you to observe what we're doing in Rain International. He observed the McDonald brothers. And as a result, he said, I want to take this. He had a bigger vision. And Ray Kroc, as a result, took him 5 years to convince the McDonald brothers what? To sell him the assets. And what was the assets? The Golden Arches, the recipe for French fries, and the Big Mac. Ray Kroc died a billionaire, and the McDonald brothers died millionaires. We got lifestyle bonuses up to $1,000 a week, and give Paul Humphrey a hand. He just became a black diamond. He gets $500 more a week. Incredible. Here's a statement. Ray Kroc said the 2 most important requirements for major success are first, what? Now you guys need to wake up. Are you sleeping? The first important requirement for major success is what? And the second? And that is the key, folks. It's doing something about it. And Paul gave something up there earlier. He talked about a Subway. I give you an illustration of a McDonald's doing $2 million in sales, about $900,000 in profit. And as a result of that, if you have a home-based business doing $100,000 a year, $200,000 in sales with the company, $2 million in sales in the company, making $90,000. You can make $100,000 in network marketing and have less than 10% expense and walk away with $90,000, which is equivalent to what? Owning a what? McDonald's. Can you get excited about that? Well, let me begin to close you out here on what I call the sweet spot. Asset control wealth. Asset control wealth is based on you coming in at we call our sweet spot, spending $689. Once you click and get your ID number, now you're tapped into the assets of what? Rain International. They're to support you. And that's controlling millions of dollars. But some of you I know do not like to, don't want to sell, you don't want to recruit, you don't want to do anything, but just do what you're doing. So I'm going to give you another offer here. I call it the Godfather offer. Over to your left. Control your cash flow and liquid assets. Right now you're earning money. And the money you're earning, your biggest burden is your tax at 30%. IRS says, God, if you start a home-based business and you have a monthly expense, and the monthly expense is $65, and you make an effort to make a profit, guess what you can do? You can write off a lot of your expenses. And you can save anywhere between $4,000 to $5,000 a year. Can you get excited about that? Yes. All right. So we got 3 packages to come in. We got the 90-day challenge, a sweet spot, double sweet spot, a $300 starts you out with 4 boxes by formula. The better best is the sweet spot, $689, give you 10 boxes. We sell for $119 in the New York area. You make $500 profit. Also, we have a best position with $12.49. And what's exciting, we got some new fast tracks coming that's going to even double and triple this. And Byron's going to tell us about that later on today. Give that a hand. That's exciting. That's exciting. Let me close with a couple of stories here, a couple of points. I want to give you a couple of stories. One is Colonel Sanders. The reason I brought Colonel Sanders up is because a lot of you are a junior senior citizen, and you're probably comfortable. You're not doing all that you can do. But look at the statistics. Colonel Sanders, he had over a dozen business and career failures, thousands of rejections before he became a millionaire at age 65. Here's some of them. He tried several professions, including what? Salesman, railroad fireman, a farmhand, insurance salesman, steamboat pilot, country lawyer. He failed at all of them. Then he turned around. His wife left him at 65. His brother-in-law said, what? You're no good. He opened up a restaurant with 142 seats in the restaurant. He opened up the restaurant, and then the government came in and put a highway toward the restaurant down, and he broke again. At age 65, he's had 20 failures. At age 65, what happened? He was on Social Security. He said, what do I have as an asset? He said, I have a recipe on how to fry chicken. And I got $105. He got on the road. And he started talking to people like you can start talking to people. He got 1,000 rejections before one person told him no. And within 2 years, after 65, he sold his business for $2 million, which is equivalent to what? $15 million today. You didn't get that story? The asset was what? The question here is, what was the asset that Colonel Sanders used to become a millionaire? Was it his attitude, secret, persistence, or his money? Someone answer that question. Which one of the four? If you're wrong, it's all four. Because you can have the money and not have the persistence, not have the attitude. You can have the persistence without having the money. It's all four of them what you need. Now, how many of you can put your hand on $35? I mean, $105. How many can put $105 in your hand? If you got the $105 and the persistence, and you got the persistence, the attitude, and the money, the $105, guess what I have for you? The recipe. You can take $105 in range and build $1 million business. This is the recipe. Give it another hand. And here we go. Here we go. I got 2 more minutes here. I'm going to tell you the final story. How many of you seen the Titanic? The movie. True story. A ship, a luxury ship that was built, they said it would never sink. And they were so concerned about how the ship looked, they took away some of the lifeboats, about 15 of them. So you got about 2,000 people on a ship with about 30 lifeboats. And guess what happened to the Titanic, folks? It hit an iceberg, true story, and what happened? It sank. In America today, I'm saying $17 trillion in debt, we have hit an iceberg. Got it? And during that story, when Rose was there, Rose was with Jack, remember Jack and Rose? And she was holding on. All of the lifeboats, there was thousands of people out there drowning, freezing, but the lifeboats was over there floating with the upper echelon class. The rich people got on the lifeboat. They were over there floating, waiting for someone to what? To rescue them. And they were not willing to go back to help the people, because if they were back to help the people, guess what happened? They were dumping all over. They was afraid. Folks, we're in that position today where the 1%, 2% of the world, they're not concerned about you. They got their lifeboats. But we're here today to tell you there is one company, one person who has a vision that's coming back. And what I mean by lifeboats is set up multiple streams of income, double your income, make more money, save your money. But the lifeboat I'm talking about is get involved in the network marketing industry, earn more money, and set up a lifeboat by saving your money and investing in assets. That's what I mean when I say lifeboats. So there's a lot of people out there that's willing today there's a few people out there today that's already said, there's a lot of us who need a lot of help. And there's one company, as you see it on the bottom, and it says out there, as it did in the movie, who's out there? And in the movie, when Rose was over there and Jack was dying, how many of you seen the movie again? You remember that scene? And Rose was there, and she was trying to swim, and she was trying to holler back. And that one boat came back, but Rose couldn't really, she couldn't say anything. She was exhausted. And she swam over and picked up this guy, and she did this. Can anybody hear me out there? Anybody out there need some help?